Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo, with the jokester, Ken Thomson, SportsX Radio. Ken, just like the Super Bowl and stuff, we get to these big premier games, and more sports books want to give everybody more betting options.
Sure.
The more you can bet, the more you can end up losing. That's what the sports books want. They know.
And when the game's over, as far as the spread, and that's what, if you're here in Vegas or if you, whatever account you have, if you have the in-running wagering, that's a great thing because it keeps you around. So if it's a 20-point game, you're still relevant as far as being able to put money down.
In the live wagering, in-game wagering, this has changed the landscape in Vegas. And we saw this year's Super Bowl, they document all of the,
right.
The betting statewide for Nevada because they love to get that number out there and set records this year. And I think a lot of that is fueled by the added influx of in-game wagering because now it's not, once the game kicks off, you don't have another bet till halftime.
Right.
Where now, it's just fire left, right, all day long. And let's face it, most guys that are watching a Super Bowl here live in Vegas, if you go to some of the different places and the properties, Cantor, you can get the tablet and be just sitting there pounding away. So you can have a beer in one hand, tablet in the other, and you're just going back and forth. It's going to create a bigger handle. Now, look.
Thank God they had it for this year's Super Bowl, because we know the result of that game was over early. If you had just played Denver for the game, you knew you're done. Oh,
you were done very early in that one for sure. But it was a fun Super Bowl if you had Seattle, which most of us did. So
you did. I lost a little bit on my boy Manning, but not much. One of those heart bets, bet with the heart.
Well, you can't do
just a few dollars, so that's why I didn't hurt myself.
There you go. All right, looking at this one, there's a prop that sticks out to me, and I butcher the guy's name all the time, but Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, good enough. Napier. Yeah.
Napier. Okay. 18.5 points. Now, the average guy that's going to sit down, they're going to go grab the sheet at the sports book, see all these props, and they're going to see that point total of 18.5. They're going to look and say, these two teams played already. When they played the first time, he scored 26 points. They're going to look at the last game against Michigan State, another team that's known for playing defense. He scored 25 points. This total's 18.5. No-brainer, right?
3 games before that, 25, 19, and 25. So he's averaging 23 in the 4 big dance deals as well.
And yet this total's 18.5. Free money. Run to the window. Give it away. Go get all you can get. No. They don't give away free money, okay? And when you're doing your handicap for props, my thing before I actually get to the play is you've got to handicap the prop as part of your handicap of the game. What you see happening in the game when you handicap your side, your total, whatever you're doing, that has to come into play with your prop because a lot of the stuff is going to be based on who's winning the game, how the complexion of the game is going as to whether a guy's going to have a high point total or not. And that's the basis for me on this one. I'll make it official in a second, but before I go to that, anything that you want to, any thoughts you have on this particular prop or maybe anything in props that you saw that you wanted to just throw out there?
Prior to those games that we talked about, the 4 tournament games, 16, 15, 11, and 9. Those were his point totals against Louisville, twice Cincinnati, and Memphis. Good defensive teams, maybe as good as they are, not as good a defensive team as Florida. So,
all right. Well, you know what? Let's make this an official. All right, as I said, these two teams played once already. It was back in December, early December, and Connecticut got the win by a point playing at home. In that game, yes, he got 26 points. He was 5 of 8 from three-point land. But I'm going to tell you, given a week to prepare, now remember, that's the beauty of the Final Four, and I think that's one thing that gets overlooked. The coaches have a bigger impact on the Final Four games than people give them credit for because that is the longest stretch you have in the entire tournament in between games. So the better coaches are going to have better game plans. When you're doing the coaching for all of the other rounds, you're either going from a Saturday or a Sunday back to a Thursday or a Friday, a little shorter work week as far as game preparation. This is going to be I feel, a defensive struggle. And I think Billy Donovan's going to have a game plan that's going to take him out of the game, make him work for the shots. He's not going to get those open look threes because that's what hurt Florida in that first game. Also, let's look at the Michigan State game. Part of those 25 points he scored against Michigan State, 9 for 9 from the line. This guy got to the line. Also, Connecticut was in the lead in that game, so that's something you got to factor in, those cheap points that come at the end of a game when somebody's getting fouled and they're putting them on the line. If my handicap has Florida winning this game, which if you watch the earlier video, that's who I'm on in this game, I don't expect Connecticut to be in the lead at the end of the game. So he's not going to get those extra bonus points at the end of the game when they're fouling, trying to keep the game, extending the game, and hoping to make a comeback. I think Florida will be playing with the lead, so that takes that out of the equation. And Vegas isn't stupid. They're not going to put a total up this far off and know that the public's going to be betting the over just based on looking at what the guy's done in the last couple games. They know the styles of the game, and Florida's defense has been tremendous down the stretch. I look for Florida to shut them down and for this to be under 18.5 points for Shabazz Napier.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. The 4 teams that UConn played, St. Joe's, Villanova, Iowa State, and Michigan State, as good as those teams are, huge advantage for Napier as far as from the point guard position. Now you're going up against Scotty Wilbekin on the other side who's running the show. No advantage there. In fact, I think still a slight advantage to Florida the way Wilbekin's playing this season.
All right, there you have it. Take under 18.5 points for my prop. That's going to wrap up this week's show. We'll be back next week. College basketball season will be over. We'll have NBA action for you, and we'll start covering some baseball games for you here on pregame.tv. He's Ken Thomson, Marco D'Angelo. Good luck this week. Enjoy the Final Four and the championship game on Monday.